Liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know how to find me, darling. Call me. She tell me she had an accident. Say she stick on the highway. What may come some she problems. So she looking to find me. Span traffic jam and hot sun beating her day. Say she out on the road all day. So when I reach her she tell me, what you waiting for? Like you ain't sure. Jack up the thing like so. And if you see how I put the pressure when I turning it, how she walking on the road again. Fix it up, mechanic. She tell me do quick, I can't be late. You know the boss like to complain, so I put down the work with confidence. But she watching the timing, for sure no man done call the record. Hey, but it's traffic jam, traffic bumper to bumper. Oh, it's a racer who done clean this back plug. Put in the alka, the engine up. Check on performance, charging it up. I see she revving, but it not functioning. The crowd got her wrong, it's big jam straight to tongue, yeah. Say she's sweat on the road all day. So then she turn on, she tell me, what you waiting for? You're taking too long. Put her back on the floor, eh. Cause she want me apply the pressure when I turn it.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Bringing you the energy, music and vibes to start your day right.
You know how to find me, darling.
And Yes, there's no better way to start your day than with us here on New Era TT Radio. Hey everybody, good morning to you and welcome. I know weather conditions are mixed on the outside. In some places it's raining, some places a little cloudy and breezy. Like me, they look like they're having no rain right now, but I'm sure it will come at some point in time. So good morning to Trinidad, good morning to Tobago, neighbors in the Caribbean, friends who are streaming all around the globe. Thank you very much for choosing us and making us your choice each and every day. I'm yours truly, Sir Charles, and of course we'll be here with you. Well, most of the day I'm here with you. But I want to take this opportunity right now to welcome everybody to the breakfast show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Let's again.
I tell him nothing.
Oh, you all know what happened? I changed my mic.
Yes.
Anytime you change your mic, that's it. It goes off. And it says you're doing something.
You don't have to tell me that.
You're doing something technical. That's it.
We were reading your lips.
TMI. Okay?
You were reading your lips. That's all right.
I was a little behind time today, so I now plug in my mic and I said, and I was telling myself before, I said, well, I have to remember to unmute myself, and there I go, forgetting to unmute. Because why? You know why, Wendell? You know why, Wendell? If what?
You also work with a battery?
What?
Nothing. Say plug in your mic.
He talking something else.
My mic with the USB. But you know what I was doing? I was trying to get that video. So it distracted me because I had to email it. Well, email the link, and I was dealing with that while the breakfast song was going on. But anyway, the weekend has begun, people. So it's 2 holidays back to back, Thursday and Friday. So today is like a Friday. So enjoy, put a smile on your face. If you're on your commute, you should be in a good mood because you know it's a long weekend. And so have a fantastic day, whatever you're about to do. And of course, you chose right because your fantastic day begins right here on the breakfast show. And so let me say a special good morning to all our listeners and viewers, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to the breakfast show and welcome to my co-host, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It was a very hard shower of rain came down in Arima just now. When I went outside to see about my fishes, the sky was black. It was extremely dark. So we are going to have a rough day. Well, I mean, a rough morning in Arima.
I don't think so.
It'll clear up.
But according to my phone, it says.
Okay, but it's extremely
It's going to remain kind of cloudy, but the rain would stop.
No, that's not cloudy. What I've seen in my area.
Yeah, that's what it's saying on my phone.
Maybe up in the rich area, it's a little calmer. But you know,
that's what it's saying on my phone. But the rain will stop maybe around 6 something.
Okay.
But from 7 o'clock.
It's not falling now, but it's extremely dark outside.
From 7 o'clock, it's just going to be, there'll be some sun, but it's going to be cloudy, and it's very much just going to be cloudy, but not raining. That's what it's.
Okay, well,
that's what my phone says. That's what my phone says. I don't know what. If what?
I said I'm hopeful. Then I'm cool with that because you know me. I also don't really like the rain.
Yeah.
You know.
Too much inconvenience.
It curtails your activities. You know. So, but we're happy to be in the land of the living. There are some people celebrating birthdays today and over the next few days. Happy birthday to them. Do I have any relatives celebrating a birthday over the next few days? 22nd. I have a sister who is June 22nd. Yes. And I have a brother-in-law who is June 23rd. And I have anyway. Martin Duglin is celebrating his birthday today along with Clarence Mitchell. Sean Telfer, hey Sean, happy birthday. Ricky Payne from St. James, Christiana Martinez, Nicholas LeBlanc Lewis, and Stefan Rees is also celebrating a birthday today. And if you, as I said, if you are celebrating a birthday over the next few days, feel free to message us and let us know, and we'll wish you a happy birthday, okay? Lots of stories, eh? Let me deal with international stories first.
Shouldn't we start off with good news first, sir?
Well, okay, all right.
Unless your international stories are wonderful news that is going to make us smile and love one another.
Well, it's wonderful.
I guess it's not, so it's good.
Wonderful.
This.
The other day, I was at an airport eating some mediocre chicken tenders, and I went to this restaurant, and I had forgotten to get like some barbecue sauce, and I had already paid for my food. And I said, hey, can I get a side of barbecue sauce? And this waiter, he goes, it'll be 75 cents. I said, dude, really? So you want me to pull out my credit card, and you're going to swipe it, and you're going to give me 2 slips, one for the merchant, one for the customer, and then now I have to leave you a tip, right? And I could tell he was trying to make the point. And I said, okay, you make your point, I'll make mine. All right, so that's mine. So he gives me mediocre barbecue sauce with the mediocre chicken tenders, and then I left him a $10 tip. And then his attitude changed real fast. Now he's like trying to bring me premium chicken tenders. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, these are in the back? Who are these for, you know? And the reason I did that isn't to just say I'm balling, because, you know, I got $10. And but the reason I did it is because I just wanted him to know, you don't get to ruin my day. No. I don't match the energy. I set the standard. I'm gonna have a great day. Why? You don't deserve that kind of tip for barbecue sauce that is mediocre. But God hasn't called me to match mediocre for mediocre. God's called me to be generous. And so it's not about money. It's about carrying a heart that says, do you know what kind of person I am? I won the eternal jackpot. I got something that I did not deserve. And because I got something that I did not deserve, well, it makes me want to give away to people what they don't deserve.
I like that, Richard. Maybe we should use that a little often.
Well, it's
I like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I suppose I have to learn that skill.
I think I have that skill. I have that skill.
No, you don't. People ruin your day and get you upset.
No, they ruin my day, Richard, but I try to make other people's day happy.
Well, yeah, you may do that. I mean, you may do that as a life journey, but people do ruin your day sometimes, and sometimes you interface with people and you're fine, and then they trigger you by some whatever nonsense, and it can ruin your day. And so, how do you deliberately not ruin your day? And it's by
you know what I do, Richard?
By extending, but what he's suggesting is just by extending what they don't expect.
And that's what generally I do. And what I mean. My night was ruined. I didn't sleep a wink, but at the same time, I got up this morning just excited to be on the radio with you guys and with our listeners, you know, and that kind of fixed it for me, you know, because I had a horrible night and morning, you know. I came back to Trinidad last evening. First time ever I flew with 2 female pilots too. I've never flown with 2 female pilots. Miss Norbriger and Miss Elliott, I think those were the names. And I had a very nice flight, you know. I mean, it was as I say, it was kind of nervous being in a plane with 2 female pilots for the first time, you know. But at the same time,
I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
Huh?
You know, I wouldn't have noticed. They would have said their names, but my brain would not even have.
I pay attention to who the pilots are.
No,
I
don't
always
pay attention to that at all, because I'm like, whatever, I'm already on the damn plane. So.
But I was actually sitting, waiting to board, and I saw them walking towards the dock. And I said, oh, 2 female pilots. And so then they introduced themselves, on the flight. And I mean, it was a smooth flight, I have to admit. It was smooth. Landing was smooth, everything. So to the CAL pilots, Miss Nobriga, I think is her name, and Miss Elliott, well done. I felt I was in very good hands last evening, as was, I guess, most of the other people, because as I say, I've flown a lot and I've never had 2 female pilots, So, but I'm just saying, I subscribe to that video that you just showed there, and we should do it maybe once a week or once every other week or something, to remind the people that regardless of what's happening in your life, there are other people probably experiencing worse than you, and they could do it a lift. Because trust me, the guy who you're referring to about the 75 cents barbecue sauce, he probably working for bare minimum wage. So he would have been so ecstatic over that tip, because he was just doing his job, charging for a barbecue sauce. You understand? Which is what most people in these fast food places have to do. They just have to follow the rules, but they are always, even in gas stations, I tip in gas stations, because it can be easy for some people doing that job day after day and meeting all kind of crazy people who just venting off on them. You know what I mean? It can't be easy. So every now and then, if you could be that person to make a difference in their life, do it. Do it.
But
and just an extension of that, Richard. That's why sometimes I take offense at some of the comments some people make on this chat sometimes, to just make a mess of other people's day. They're just needling you and they're just hating and they just, say something good now. So many, 99% of our people on this chat say good things, you understand, and make good contributions. But there are some others who just feel that they must make your day miserable, and that I have a problem with. I'll leave it there for now.
Okay, so that's the end of our good news segment.
The international stories. I don't know if you saw the story with Tyler Perry, where he's being sued by someone.
I saw that story.
Isn't that a crazy story?
Yeah, I saw that story. I read the synopsis of it. And so I saw it where the guy, some Dixon guy, was in the Oval or something like that.
The Oval, yes.
And said he was sexually assaulted and stuff. It came in $260 million.
Yeah.
But
is the chronology of the events that I'm saying, you reading this thing and you saying, but wait, you were drugged or got too drunk or whatever, you were not in your correct senses, and you could tell that somebody's hand was on your thigh. You went back, you continued to message the person or exchange messages with the person. Then you went to Atlanta with the person. The story just didn't make sense in terms of the chronology of the events, but these things happen to I guess rich people in that part of the globe, especially rich Black people. It happens. So Tyler Perry.
See where it goes, because it is a lawsuit that I think it was TMZ who broke the story, and of course the lawyer for Tyler Perry saying it's a shakedown.
Of course, just reading it, it sounds that way.
Money, and said that they will be defending it aggressively. So, we'll see how it all plays out.
And then the other story is that of what's this guy name who's in jail now, who sang? Help me now. R. Kelly. I don't know if you saw this story on R. Kelly too.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yes.
He's still in jail. I thought he was out of jail.
No, he's still.
I think he's in jail.
But he was something with his medication and he overdosed. They said it was almost like an attempt to get rid of him. That's how some people are interpreting it. That he didn't deliberately do it. It was done to him. So that's those are two of the trending stories with people who we are very familiar with, R. Kelly and certainly Tyler Perry. You know, because I have to watch over Straw, because I'm hearing people talking about certain parts of that movie that I clearly missed. I have to look at it again. You know,
Well, but the other main international stories, of course, is the Israel-Iran war.
Oh Lord.
And you know, it's like the Middle East is whatever. But anyway, so apparently now President Trump is now weighing in on how if the US should get involved, and with strikes on Iran, etc. So it just becomes more and more complicated.
But he was bold enough to say he knows where Khamenei is, and he's not going to kill him for now. I mean, what kind of language is that?
But you know, well, he says things like that, I guess. Doesn't he? He says things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you see how that plays out. I mean, anytime you have wars in any part of the world, it's distressing, I think, for the rest of the planet, because you just want some peace. I mean, you have all sorts of stuff going on. You have what's taking place in Gaza. You have let's call that War One, Israel and Gaza. But that's not really War One. Let's call the Ukraine. It's so many. It's Ukraine and Russia. You have stuff going on in South Sudan. It's overwhelming. I mean, the conflict zones on the planet just seem to be expanding and expanding and expanding.
Humans spending billions of dollars to kill other humans. Instead, humans could spend half that amount to feed and house and clothe other humans.
Yes.
You understand?
All for what?
Human beings have a lot to answer for, you know.
As I always tell people, that if there is a God and we have a judgment day, the line will have to hold up, and I will have to tell all, take a break and find whatever cafeteria all you find, because I need to have a discussion. I have a long list of questions.
Mm-hmm. There's one question I'm going to ask, Richard.
Now,
Why?
I have several.
Why? No, I'm going to just ask why.
Now, I have plenty whys. I tell you, I have several questions. And I say, everybody, take a break, please. Take a break. Or find some food to eat in whatever cafeteria they have here. And I'll say, can somebody get me a chair, please?
Oh,
I have some things to ask you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's sad reading those stories, you know. And even seeing the footage sometimes of what the mayhem that's taking place. It's extremely sad. And I mean, we are on a it seems like in Trinidad and Tobago too, we are on a murderous rampage again. You know, it hasn't let up. You know what I mean?
No,
it hasn't let up one bit. It's crazy. But we installed a new police commissioner yesterday who had some interesting things he said. It'll be interesting speaking with Commissioner Guevara eventually. Because it's interesting that he referred to some old now deceased police officers like Randolph Burroughs and them as almost in a heroic way. I mean, that's my interpretation of it. I may be wrong, you know, who charted their course and so on to where we are today. So it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Guevara controls the TTPS-1, because to me that's the first thing he has to do. He has to fix that TTPS if possible, if it is possible. You understand? And then go out and fix the issue of, well, as I say, I will never blame a police commissioner or even a minister of national security for the murderous rampage some people are on, especially with the domestic situations. We saw that playing out in a video. Richard hopefully will play that video in a while. But there's nothing the law enforcement in most cases could do about these things. In some cases, there have been reports, numerous reports, and maybe they could have done better. But in some cases, it's just people just snapping and people deciding they're killing people for little to no reason, for jealousy, for envy, for something somebody say, for something somebody do, for how somebody look. They're killing for all manner of reasons. So how the power police commissioner, how the TTPS can fix that, I don't know. But at the same time, we had to fix it. Mr. Guevara has a responsibility to fix the TTPS first. And I'm not sure if referring to boroughs on them is the ideal way, but let's see where he goes with that.
He referred to boroughs? He referred to boroughs? Is that what he said?
Yes. I'm sorry we didn't have those clips of Mr. Guevara speaking.
Okay, I know I didn't, but I was busy yesterday and I'm busy today. But we have reached out to, I think we could tell the listeners, we have reached out to the new commissioner of police, and he has responded.
Yes.
And he has indicated that he will do the interview in a sort of way. He didn't say no.
Yeah.
So
he wanted to meet with his executive first.
Yeah, so we expect that he will join us.
Mm-hmm.
I keep asking, so he knows I'm asking, and he told me to keep reminding him. So
yeah,
hopefully we will get him on soon on the breakfast show for an interview with us, and we could raise a lot of these issues that you're raising, Wendell, in terms of what he said. Of course, he is on several of the daily newspapers this morning. I'm making it several as if it's 25. On one or two of the newspapers this morning, he's there, and some of what he said. And I know you were talking about hatred that people have. Do you want to show that confession video? You know, there's a confession video of people that went viral yesterday about a guy who admitted that he killed
Savannah Dyer.
Yeah, the girl in Digger Martin. I was in Digger Martin, wasn't it?
Yes. But she wasn't. She's from there. She's from Digger Martin.
She's from.
I think her body was found in Carlson Field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was it? I can't remember.
I think it's Carlson Field. Her body was found. Yes.
I saw the video. No, I didn't watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really watch those kind of things. I'm like, I don't really feel for those kind of, even though I'm on a show that discusses these things, I don't really watch a lot of those things. But we do have the video, so I don't know if we could take a quick poll about whether we should show it or not, or do you all want to be?
Well, I sent you guys something in the chat. I know you didn't check it out, so well, maybe I think we should just probably pause it for a little while and discuss around it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I see in what it is. Okay. All right. I agree with that because he has actually been arrested. So it's gonna go through its process. So maybe showing a video of him confessing, because that's what he did in the video, might prejudice whatever case is going forward. So
is there a case? Has he been charged?
Well, I guess he will be, because he's been arrested.
Well, if he hasn't been charged, it's not sub judice here.
Okay, all right.
But I wasn't a big fan of showing it anyway, because I just don't feel like it. After watching a video that's trying to, build up,
but hear what the person says.
Positivity. Yeah. I don't think that you want to go into something that's kind of very negative, and the ugly side of human beings, because that's what it is.
Well, what the person advises, the suspects are in police custody but not yet charged, which means the case is in a pre-trial phase. Broadcasting the confession could jeopardize the investigation or future trial, lead to claims of prejudicing the public against the suspects, risk a defamation suit or accusations of unethical journalism if the confession turns out to be false or coerced. So we will take that advice from whoever sent it to Sir Charles, right?
Yeah. Even though I don't necessarily, I'm not a fan of showing the video anyway, but I don't agree with all of that. But I'm not a big fan of it anyway. And I always find that those issues of sub judice and all of those things, I always find those things need to be challenged.
Overdone.
I find they always need to be challenged. Media houses don't challenge it in court. But I always find things need to be challenged because you also have a constitutional protection for freedom of expression and freedom of the press. So I do believe you should be able to discuss anything.
But that issue of that video that we're talking about, it's gone viral already.
But I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of the horse is long bolted.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't. I suppose what that person's saying, which we shouldn't add it.
You're right.
But as I said, I wasn't in favor of showing it anyway because I just don't. It's overwhelmingly a negative video, and I don't believe in promoting that kind of negativity.
Yeah. But it also proves again what I was speaking about in terms of the monsters in your midst, because you never know. You never know who is who. You understand?
Yeah. But let's say good morning to all of our guests, all of our listeners and viewers.
Are we running behind?
We should.
They're really yapping this morning. Yeah, yap.
I didn't think you and Sir Charles would stop today.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Susan Jessup has saved us. Susan, good morning. Amen. Praises be unto God Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ. Good morning for Richard, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell from Susan, Suzette, and Mrs. Gemma. All right. She said, have a beautiful weekend. And people, Richard plays still on, Married and Mischievous. Go and check it out. As we bring it home, Sappy Sunday, 2 p.m. sharp. Oh, Susan doing a full advertisement for the show for everybody. And she said, yes, Wendell, I slept well. I'm up. Susan, you're a trip. Boy Bidesi from Debe says, good morning. Subhash Mangal, good morning, everyone from Woodland. So we finally know where Subhash Mangal is from. Subhash, you know, man, people who feel they're from Woodland, yeah, including them too, they wish they were from Woodland.
What a name of a place.
Where is Woodland anyway?
Here we are. You know.
South, deep south or somewhere?
Come, move ahead. You're running behind.
Marlon Motley from Valsay North, Milicia from Charfleur, Ozzy Molino, Robert Taylor, Wendy and James, Doreen Pierre, Ingrid from Tucson, Alistair Hart from San Fernando. He says it's pouring rain. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr from Arima, Erica Charles from Mova, Wayne Ramsey from Fort Lauderdale, Joyce Phillip, Rena Budu Jennings from Petty Valley. It's raining in Petty Valley too. Mary Grant, rainy morning to all. Mrs. R. Brennan Smith from Goodwood in Tobago. Kathy Ann Charles from Cascade. Odell Guy, Lennox Francois from Baltimore. He says it's raining there too. Lambert Bruce from El Dorado. Diane Payne, Siobhan Shogun. You guys are the best choice. Sir Charles, have a great day. All right, don't forget to plant something good. Yes, it's Corpus Christi, people. Time to plant. Hill Benz, Diane Payne, Wendell, it's falling in south. Okay, rain is falling. Joyce Phillip, there's a tropical wave approaching us. Yes, that's true. Slick Money Grip, lots of thunder now in Port of Spain. Robert Harper, Ann Noel, Ron DeSantis Jr. from Norfolk, Virginia. Well, he's in Tampa, Florida today. Donna Ramlochan, Annie Bunyan, morning Annie. Chris Tousse, you make some comments, you know. Kazim Mohammed says good morning. Hill Benj again. I am also celebrating my birthday on the 22nd. Okay, that's Hill Benj. All right, so happy early birthday, Hill Benj. Sherwin Kerr says happy birthday to his son Kevin. Wishing him a fabulous day. Marlon Motley, that good news clip is inspiring. Indeed, it was, Marlon. Melchizedek, Josie Richardson, happy birthday, Benj. Okay. Brent Hackshaw, Richard Ablak, that's a new name. Richard, here I am celebrating my 30th anniversary. Today, Richard and Marilyn do have a blessed day. So that's happy anniversary to Richard and Marilyn Ablak. All right. Anthony Tinto says Grand Rising. DL says good morning. Where are we? A lot of same people messaging. Trinidad Margot, Siobhan Shogun, Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Ava Smith says good morning. Kumar Singh, you need to watch in order to get the right. Okay. Well, it's trending, Kumar. I'm sure you'll get it on your WhatsApp. Mark Albert says, morning, guys. Jasodra Ramlakan, Ambrose Blah from New York, Mark Albert again, he's from Goodwood Park. Thanks for joining us, Mark Albert. Are you down by that that dilapidated police booth? Kurt Hope from Nashville, Ram Naresh, Anthony Artwell, Crash, Diane Hamill, and that's it. Hillben says she's a lady. All right, Hillben. Well, you're born
Okay,
to
so
with my sister.
very quickly, let me say good morning to Margaret Thomas, who was in very early. Also, Archbishop Ashton Clark in Canada. Captain Ron, good morning to you. He says he's at home today, I think. Getting ready to move. Terry Ann Peters, wet and rainy day. Yes, it is, Terry Ann. Actually, no started rain by me here. Also to Kent and Miss Sampson, good morning to you. Colin out there in Carenage and Sexy Reds. That's it.
So like it's raining all over? No.
Yeah.
Based on what we've heard. Grandy, Arima, Champlain, Petite Valley, San Fernando. It seems to be raining all over.
But it's not raining in Arima right now.
Which part of Arima? You forget you up in the upper echelons, you know.
No, but it's not raining in Arima. Where I am.
Okay.
Wow. All right. And Mr. Beeps, good morning to you. And of course, sick money group is here also now. Yeah.
All right. So those are all our greetings. I guess we can take some. No, you have to do headlines, Richard.
Headlines.
Let me do headlines. So I'll start with I got papers this morning. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. All hands on board. That's the main headline. A new top cop issues clarion call to country, also warns parents to control their children or else. And there is a picture of, what is this a picture of? Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, presents the ceremonial cane to newly
appointed. Sword, wasn't it a sword?
Well, it says cane here. To newly appointed Commissioner of Police, Alistair Guevara. Man crushed to death in Gulf City Mall. That was a strange one too.
Yeah, that was a strange
one yesterday. And
was that the person who was directing traffic?
Yes.
I'm always concerned about that, you know, because there are people who, how I should put it, they sometimes are maybe, I want to say careless, because they try to help people to their own detriment sometimes.
Yeah, going the way.
Yeah, they stand in the back of the car sometimes when they direct you to come back. You know, I'm always concerned about, and I always wind on my glass. And people, whenever you're reversing, especially reversing, and even if you're taking directions on some, wind your glass down, put your window down, so you could hear if anybody is shouting or if anybody is alerting you or whatever. You could hear people reverse sometimes with their glass up and they don't have a care in the world what's happening behind them.
But it's a very tragic situation, you know, that somebody lost their life.
Yeah.
Trying to be helpful. Yeah, Finance Minister delivers mid-year budget today. That's also on the front page of The Guardian. On the back page, West Indies women lose series decider. That's all you need to know. On the front page of the Daily Express, move to deny young PM pension. Move to deny.
What? Yeah.
Okay, move to deny young,
getting
Express, move to deny young, Express, PM pension. Government proposes amended law for benefit based on 1 year minimum time served in office. I don't know if they can make that retroactive.
What?
I just read the headline.
No, I was distracted. I was distracted. I get distracted from time to time, you know. It's okay.
But try not to do it between 6 and 8:15. Government proposes amended law for benefit based on 1 year minimum time served in office. So they're trying to, but the headline is surmising that they're trying to deny Stuart Young his prime minister's pension.
I tell you, all of them should have denied themselves that increase. All of them, except local government people. Leave the local government people and the other public servants, and the politicians in parliament should not have taken it. None of them.
But I don't know if that's the intent, if they're going to try to make it retroactive or not. But that would have complications that could be legal, I think. But anyway. New top cop warns parents, control your children. Of course, that's what the media took away from what he said. Intruder at school, security review at Santa Rosa Primary School incident. We have to talk about that incident. We didn't talk about that incident. That's a crazy incident.
Yes. You
And
saw the
family-
ministry issue the release.
Huh? I saw what you put in the group, but we didn't talk about it. Remember, I sent it to the group, and I was like, "What the hell is this story?
Yes.
It's crazy."
Yeah.
So we could talk about that too, I guess, because today's show is about you. We are just taking calls and we're just discussing general issues. Family of attacked student denied witness protection. Amory says Penny listens, not buffs. And
What is that? What bacchanal is that?
I don't know, a lot of PNM bacchanal going on that I am exhausted. I don't even.
The first buff he get from Penelope Beckles-Robinson.
No, he says Penny listens, not buffs. That's all he says. That's all the headline says. But I don't know what exactly it is about.
Dr. Brown didn't say that.
Amory, Penny listens, not buffs. Now you're forcing me to read a little bit of the article because I have other fast people like you in the stream. Penny Beckles listens, not buffs. PNM Senator Amory Brown said on Monday night as he praised the People's National Movement leader for visiting constituencies in the wake of the party's electoral defeat. He also defended Penelope Beckles' decision to have a slate in the PNM Sunday. He was speaking at a 1 PNM public meeting in La Joqueta. Brown said the first thing that former PNM leader Patrick Manning did in opposition was to go into the highways, the byways, and walk every constituency, every avenue, and meet and connect with the people once again. And guess who is doing that? The Honorable Penelope Beckles-Robinson, thoroughly, not leaving anyone out, not leaving anyone behind, going out into the communities, not to buff up people and ball up people and carry on and blame this one and that one, but to listen to the people and to learn what their priorities are and to make the priorities of the people our priorities. One love, taking us back to governance once again, Brown said. It sounds like he's sponging Dr. Rowley.
But that comes across as a kind of ungrateful comment.
It sounds as if he's making a snide remark to Dr. Rowley, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah,
but it comes across to as a kind of a grateful comment. Dr. Rowley, who brought Dr. Brown back, made him a senator, made him an ambassador one, and then a senator and a minister. It sounds a little ungrateful.
Well,
if it's Dr. Rowley.
No, he didn't say it was Dr. Rowley he was talking about. But it just seems as if it's a kind of snarky comment in that direction.
No, it's an ungrateful comment, Richard.
No, it's snarky to me. It could be ungrateful. It could be ungrateful to PNM people, but to people on the outside, it's snarky. Brown said the other valuable lesson he learned from Manning was that you had to know that when you pass on the baton, you pass on the baton. Otherwise, you can imagine a relay race, and you run your leg, and you hand over the baton. The other person takes the baton, and you're still hanging on to the baton, and the two of you running down the road. You think you will be successful? That sounds like snarky comment number 2.
Well, that one is snarky. The first one was ungrateful, but that one is definitely snarky.
Well, I call him it snarky too. And he continued, I can expand on that a little bit, because there is something happening right now in the internal election where it seems there's a particular group of people who want to drag us back into the last leg of the relay and not allow us to run the next leg. And you see this young lady, the Honorable, the Honorable Penelope. That was snark. No, that was snark. I got infected with snarkiness.
You know what I do? Richard, stick up in there. You know
No,
what
wait, no, this is sweet piano bacchanal. Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
And you see, this young lady, the Honorable Penelope Beckles-Robinson, the MP for Arima, I wanted to have the best chance to run this leg with success, because when she succeeds, the People's National Movement will succeed, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago will succeed. And they might as well swap out succeed for win. Brown said he knew that in 5 years or less, the PNM would be back governing this country, leading by example with a brand new prime minister who would be the third woman prime minister of this country and the first woman PNM prime minister. Brown said there is nothing wrong with the leader of the People's National Movement having a slate, since that standard was set by the first prime minister, Dr. Eric Williams, and Manning and Keith Rowley also fielded slates. This is not a dictatorship or an autocracy. You need to have a team. Every general must have their lieutenants. Every commissioner must have a deputy commissioner and assistant commissioner. That's just part of how leadership works. Brown said sometimes people get accustomed to a certain style of leadership, but the country clearly has been thirsty and calling out for a different texture, a different fabric of leadership. That is snappy comment number 3.
Yeah.
And so leadership isn't always loud and boisterous. Leadership is soft and resonating. Leadership isn't always aggressive. Sometimes leadership is more caring, has a more caring face and a more concerned and connected ethos. Leadership isn't always someone who can stand up and give a 45-minute speech without any notes, he said. Snappy comment number 4. I'm keeping track.
Lots of snarkiness there.
Yeah. He stressed the PNM, a national movement, a national party, and that is why 41 candidates are presented in every election. So let us not allow any little clique in Port of Spain who has access to Facebook to bombard you with all sorts of negative messages to control your mind. We are all big and we have sense. Don't let small cliques control your narrative. Well, that's snarky comment number 5. So now you know.
Richard, let me tell you something. First to begin with, I wish the Honorable Penelope Beckles-Robinson the absolute best, okay?
That sounds like a preface to snarkiness.
Hold on. I wish her the absolute best.
That sounds like, you're so fine, Sir Charles. You know, that's like Mark Anthony. We are all honorable men.
Yes.
We are all honorable men. Yeah.
I wish her the absolute best. I wish her team, if they are successful, the absolute best. Okay? I wish them the best. But guess what? The same reason you could say that Penelope Beckles is how she is, because that's a character. That's how she always was. That's how she will be. That's how she will govern. It's the same way you knew how Dr. Rowley was, you know. You know how he is. You know, you accepted appointments in his government, knowing how he was, knowing that he was that type of individual. He spoke a certain way. He exhibited a certain way. You knew that. So if you want to praise Penelope Beckles-Robinson, no, nothing wrong with that. Do not attack Dr. Rowley, because you knew that that's how he was. Leave the man in peace. The man has retired and gone. Leave him in peace. You knew that's how he was, right? He at least was gracious enough to bring you in and give you a position without you even facing the polls. Stop being ungrateful. I don't like ungratefulness, right? Praise Penelope Beckles-Robinson, fine. Leave Dr. Rowley alone, and definitely leave Stuart Young alone, right? Go on do your best for what you think is best.
And that wasn't snarkiness. That is borderline. What you call that, Sir Charles? That is a buff.
But what you have to remember is that Wendell, I think what you have to remember is that for where the party is at right now, a lot of people are blaming the last leader for having it there. You know, there's a lot of bad blood going on there right now and more or less if you want to use
Charles, I don't mind that, you know. I have no problem with that if you want to blame the leadership of the last PNM, the last executive and so on. But guess what? some of that same leadership is also trying to move us forward with Penelope Beckles-Robinson. Give it a chance. Whatever happens after June 22nd. I really don't care. I don't care who win what, right? But I'm saying do not attack the past. Gone. Ain't nothing you can do about that. The past.
Some buffing people, you're just like them. We play a whole clip this morning about moving it forward, and you get down into the thing and I'm wanting to ruin people's day. Huh? You learned nothing from the clip I played this morning.
Can you while you try to finish up the headlines, which is running extremely late, can you tell the listeners what will happen after 7 o'clock?
He's so like to rile me up at PNM Bacchanal. That is the problem. He like to rile me up.
Richard,
friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Yes. So while we are running late, we have to look for a poll. We're still doing the headlines. We haven't been able to touch the callers. So would you like to let them know what will be happening after 7 o'clock?
Well, they're supposed to know. It's on the thumbnail. But we did tell them, we told them already that this show today is about general topics, and it's for them to interact with us.
All right.
We said that already,
I probably missed that then.
Yeah, because you're distracted, just like my other co-host.
Yeah, we have to check another thing, but that's all right. Once you let them know what's going on. So where we are,
women collapse and lose ODI series, and I'll move to the Newsday, which is the final of the 3 dailies this morning because Wendell got distracted with PNM Bacchanal. New Commissioner of Police warns parents about school violence. Control your kids or cops will. As I said, that's the takeaway the media took from it. Trinidad and Israel warned to stay close to shelters. And on the back page, Paul Philip Brown Wallace for local UCI meets TT Stars ready for speed, and Roxborough triumph at NGC Schools Athletics Championships. That's it for our 3 dailies this morning. Do you have an idea for a poll, Mr. Mann, that you could send in the WhatsApp group?
Well,
but let's open up the lines anyway at this point, because we usually open up the lines. And today is a show about opening up the lines. So 281-1315, 281-1315. We're opening up the lines at this point, so you can call in and weigh in on some of the topics.
People who did not read the thumbnail, to let you know that if you don't get in this session after 7 o'clock, you get to air your growls and your feelings after 7 also, right? Today it's your day. So good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Good morning, Gabby.
Rainy day to you.
Rainy days and Sundays.
Good morning, Wendell. It's raining here where I live, and this is dark, like 5 o'clock in the morning, which I love. So you see, I didn't send you no morning greetings because I was just lulling off. And good morning, Richard. So, well, look now, I'm so glad I got up in time to hear all the reading the papers. The headlines, I should say, but the headlines turn to news now, Richard. Oh gosh, let me tell you, to tell you the truth, when I heard Richard reading about what I heard, when he was reading it, I said, wait, isn't this an internal election for a party to build? One party, as they say it is, right? To build. So there's no need to bash what went on in the past. If you want to build, just continue from what you are. So you have a leader who people say quiet and soft and whatever. Okay, everybody has their faults. Not their faults, their own way of doing things, right? Since I fall in politics, that was like with George Chambers' time. Mr. George Chambers was very quiet. You never hear him speak loudly, right? But I never hear him talk loud. I was like 10, 11 years and he speaks so quiet. And I'm saying, but for Prime Minister, he's not even talking rough. But I thought, you're supposed to. Mr. Manning was all right. He used to call rough. When I first heard Dr. Rowley, I said, well, how Dr. Rowley sound like he always talking rough to people? But when we hear him in interviews, that's the way he speaks. So I got to know that is how the man talks. And of course, when I feel passionate about things, it will sound worse. So I didn't have a problem with how Dr. Rowley used to express himself because that is his way. And now, if you're wrong, you cannot say not Dr. Rowley is speaking about, and you cannot say Stuart Young you're not speaking about. Everybody could read and have sense and could understand we know you are speaking about Dr. Rowley. And I mean, he was a leader, and not too long ago, you all were cheering him on, and our political leader. You see, all of that was games. And when then I don't belong to no political party, I do not vote. I like the PNM policies. If the UNC doing good thing, I say they're doing good thing. So, Dr. Rowley, Dr. Amy Brown, you failed in my book. You failed because that is not how you treat your former leader. Because you was growling off him after saying everything. No, I real vexed with you. You don't have a good day.
I cannot problem. Remember the man parked the Maxi in the grass, you know. so
Dr. Rowley resigned. He retired from politics. He retired. Okay? He's done.
Caller, good morning to you.
Pleasant morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Gentlemen, I heard this article being talked about yesterday, and the attention being drawn to this incident in the school yesterday. And we need to be careful. We need to be careful as human beings, because one of the things I saw we started to do early in the game before any information come out was blame the security guards and blame the security. And the security guards need to be fired. And even the information from Tutor kind of leaned towards blaming the security guards. And I knew from my recollection of what Tutor have been complaining about for years, I thought to myself, but I have been always hearing about fence opening schools and whatnot. I said, suppose the man never came through the front entrance where the security guards are. Come to find out now, it was exactly that. And first we like to blame people. We would have fired people without the accurate information. The man never came in. The man come through some hole in the wall. A child died in a wrong ways. And when they did the investigation, was a hole in the wall. Coming over the Lady Young Road, when they look at that school in Belmont, you could just take down the road and jump over the fence in the school. There are so many schools in Trinidad and Tobago that is not secured. But when something happens now, you want to blame security guard. Everybody looking at the security. Yet we all know schools is a large compound. We all know sometimes they have 2 security guards, 2 female security guards. We all know that. But when the feces hit the fan, we looking to blame the security guards. Let us be honest with ourselves and recognize our shortcomings, and don't look to throw the people under the bus when the feces hit the fan. All right? I just wanted to put that out there this one. I was very upset yesterday when I was hearing people blaming security for something that they have no control over. And something that has been highlighted by Tutor for decades. Perimeter security of schools is flawed. It has been highlighted for decades. But we want to throw security guard under the bus when something happens now.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Thanks very much. All right. You guys came up with a poll?
Yeah, like Richard, have a poll there too.
Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. So we give you the poll, and you could vote on the poll throughout the 7 o'clock news, which is fast approaching. And then after that, we'll continue with your calls, because today it is for you to talk about all the issues that you want to talk about.
Yeah, today is the People's Forum.
Yeah.
Or the People's Parliament.
I'm not going to say that the People's Parliament.
The People's Parliament. That's what we have today. Yeah. So all you anonymous people on the chat too, you could feel free to call in today. You know, yes. All you who like to go by.
We heard you, and we you talk about you need space to talk, so we give you a space to talk today.
Yeah, talk. Just let's make sure Zena get in, all you, because I really ain't taking no set of pictures.
You say this has been inspired by Zena. That's what you say. Oh my word! So go ahead.
Would you support Chiu Chung being denied his pension as a former prime minister by an amendment to make the eligibility requirement at least a year in the office? Ooh, that's a long poll. Like, you're going to get on bad this weekend, boy.
That's a real long poll. You can just say, would you support Jojo getting his pension?
But maybe you all should have come up with the polls, Sir Charles.
Oh dear, here's snarkiness.
Maybe you or Wendell should have come up with the poll.
That
Am I being snarky enough? Or they want snarkiness? I can do snarkiness,
Very
you know.
snarky.
all
Or you're
right.
quiet and then give it no poll. Then when you give a poll, all you have all the answers of what the poll should be.
I am gobsmacked at your snarkiness.
All right, okay. So that is the long poll that you all voted on. When I read that poll again.
Would you support Stuart Young being denied his pension as a former?
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Finance Minister Davendranath Tanku says the UNC government will spend an additional $3.1 billion over the next 3 months to correct what he called the fiscal recklessness of the former PNM administration. This pushes Trinidad and Tobago's total 2025 budget to $62.8 billion, up from the original $59.7 billion. Tanku accused the PNM of spending without planning, causing what he described as an economic crash. The largest allocations go to the Ministry of Health with $728 million, Public Utilities with $489 million, and Education with $455 million. An additional $128 million is allocated to the Office of the Prime Minister to cover revised salaries and urgent support for children's institutions. Minister Barry Padderath said the underfunding of homes like St. Mary's Children's Home exposed the PNM's neglect of the most vulnerable. The mid-year budget review will be debated tomorrow. The Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs is closely monitoring developments arising from recent tensions between Israel and Iran, and is urging all nationals currently residing in or intending to travel through the affected region to exercise the utmost vigilance. In a statement posted to Facebook, the ministry advised nationals to remain alert, stay informed by following credible news sources, and register promptly with the ministry's registration system for nationals abroad. Citizens were urged to locate the nearest emergency shelter in the event of intensified hostilities, and to create contingency plans for departure if personal safety is at risk. The ministry also reminded the public that Trinidad and Tobago passport holders require a visa for transit through or entry into the United Kingdom. A veteran transportation engineer is warning that Trinidad and Tobago's highways may be unsafe at current speed limits. Dr. Ray Furlong says the 100 km/h speed limit on major highways like the Solomon Hochoy may be too high, as the roads were never designed to safely handle such speeds. He believes the previous 80 km/h limit was safer, especially since many motorists now drive at speeds over 120 km/h. Furlong also raised concerns about faulty engineering, including poorly sloped bends, unclear road markings, and missing barriers, particularly dangerous in wet conditions. He cited the recent fatal Claxton Bay crash and the death of a La Brea motorcyclist as examples where road design may have played a role. The United States government has donated medical supplies valued at over $207,000 to Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health. The donation, received yesterday, includes 13 hospital mobile beds, 1,000 bed sheets, and other essential medical items. Deputy Chief of Mission Charlie Franta presented the supplies to Health Minister Dr. Lacram Bodo in Port of Spain. Minister Bodo expressed gratitude, saying the donation will help boost operational capacity at the Port of Spain and San Fernando General Hospitals. The donation comes through the U.S. Southern Command's Humanitarian Assistance Program, which has provided over $10 million in support to Trinidad and Tobago over the past decade. The Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association is backing a call to give the Tobago House of Assembly more power to police marine parks. THTA Vice President Renee C. Prasad Singh says giving the THA legislative authority makes sense, since local officials are better placed to manage Tobago's marine environment. His comments follow a request by THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine who urged the central government to give Tobago legislative teeth to protect its reefs. Seeper Sadsing cited issues like party boats, reef damage, and illegal dumping as reasons for stronger oversight. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In regional news, the Bahamas is pausing its recruitment of Cuban nurses and will cancel existing contracts with Cuban agencies. Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville told Parliament that after talks with the U.S., his ministry will now offer direct contracts to Cuban healthcare workers already in the Bahamas. The move comes amid U.S. visa restrictions on individuals linked to Cuba's overseas medical missions, which Washington labels as forced labor. Currently, over 30 Cuban professionals are working in the Bahamian public health system. Dr. Darville stressed the need for Cuban workers due to long-standing shortages and said recruitment from Africa, India, and the Philippines will continue. In international news, Israel says it has killed another top Iranian general as tensions escalate, and U.S. President Donald Trump is urging Tehran residents to evacuate. Trump left the G7 summit early, saying the U.S. is not seeking a ceasefire, but something better, possibly full Iranian surrender. Israel's military claims it struck top Iranian targets, including General Ali Shadmani, in a continued campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear program. Iran retaliated with over 400 missiles and drone strikes, killing 24 in Israel. Iran's death toll is now over 220. The UN nuclear watchdog confirmed damage to Iran's underground Natanz enrichment site. As explosions rocked Tehran, shops closed, people fled, and Trump warned on social media, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
This summer, give your child skills of a lifetime with several bootcamp. Children between the ages of 5 to 17, come enjoy Children Iron Chef Competition. Your child will learn to prepare healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, CPR, first aid, and conflict management. With field trip, your child will be given free apron and certification upon completion. 492-7397 or 336-4935. Institute of Health and Fitness Company Limited, located at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Properly, baby. Kiss me right there. Watch where I pointed.
right, everybody, and of course, welcome back to the Breakfast Show right here on New Era TT Radio. Remember, we are in between the poll session, so you can continue to vote on the poll. So when we come back, we will have you on the inside, all right? And of course, programming note for you, just to let you know that after 9 o'clock, we will be automating as we do some upgrades on the stream. Okay, so yeah, that's all the information I have for you right about now. And of course, let's see what's happening with the weather.
Great news, Caribbean. The Breakfast Show is now on M&E TV, bringing you entertaining conversations, vital information, and influential perspectives throughout Trinidad and Tobago and across the Caribbean region. Catch us on Digicel Channel 20, Flow Channel 111, Amplia Channel 117, Blink Channel 109, Trico Channel 154, and Airlink Channel 10. The Breakfast Show connects with the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago like never before. We're now on M&E TV.
The only question I have for you is how you find your play going so far?
I was gobsmacked, to say the least. Very glad that I came to see it and can't wait for the next stop.
Very nice, lovely, yes. I could do it again.
I think the play is fantastic, and I actually told my husband tonight that I think this is one of the most hilarious and phenomenal ones yet.
Love that.
So I was dying of laughter, and the plot is creative and fun, so I just think it's awesome.
I find it has a twist, and it raises a game changer, right?
Right.
It's a game changer,
like
so it's a plus.
How was the show tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. We got fabulous actors.
Yes, we do.
It was a fabulous night. My husband laughed very loud. It was exciting.
It was excellent. I must say it was a refreshing look at the real life aspect of a marriage. I find it was excellently portrayed, I must say.
It was really exciting. I laughed a lot. And the story was really, really good. The principles, that they talk about and share with us, it was really good to see they put that in humor, with humor.
Have you heard? The hilarious adult comedy Married and Mischievous is coming to an end. No. Where are the last shows? I'll tell you. Port of Spain. Final 2 shows at Queen's Hall on Friday, July 4th and Saturday, July 5th at 8:30 p.m. And our absolutely last show is on Sunday, July 6th in Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets available in all usual outlets in North and South. Don't miss the comedy that everybody is raving about. Check RSRR Productions page on social media. And remember, strictly adults only. It's a bacchanal. S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
So we are back. And Charles.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So let's give him
sorry.
Let's give him
You ready, Charles?
Yeah.
I can't understand why I get it with Richard and I don't get it with you. I don't know.
I get it, though. I get it, but Wendell just talks a little less soon after we start. That's why.
No, but like how we just spoke, it wasn't with him.
Yes, I heard him.
Yeah, you got us.
You heard him.
Yes, I heard him echo.
Okay.
So Charles, my voice is a lot more soothing. Richard is a little coarse. He like Dr. Rowley. Two of them born the same day,
Just two different hues.
They always used to boast about liming together and doing birthday party together and think, oh, it's the same.
No fantasy.
In the tea room, and at time we went Soca Monarch in the stadium, two of them meet up, they say, hey, let me do something together. Say, watch them.
Good friends, good friends.
What? Good friends better than, what do they call it? Good friends better than, what are you saying?
Than pocket money.
Than pocket money, that's what they say. Good friends better than pocket money. Anyway, you ready for the vote, sir?
Yeah.
Mrs. R, yes. Diane Payne, no.
But you ain't give back the, hold on, but you ain't give back the poll to people who know maybe now coming in and listening.
All right, sorry. Would you support Stuart Young being denied his pension as a former prime minister by amendment to make the eligibility requirement at least a year in office? I'm tired. That's our poll.
A very long poll.
A very long poll. So you got up to Ram Naresh, right?
No, I only got 2 votes so far.
All right. Slick Money Grip, no. DL, yes. For Gregory Boyer, no. Margaret Thomas, no. Joyce Phillip, no. She didn't vote. Margaret Saunders Sobers, no. Far Rockaway, yes. Brent Hackshaw, yes. Ambrose Blah, no. Susan Jessup, yes. Alyssa Hart, yes. A lot of people are qualifying the answers, but I don't have time to read that. Marlene Saunders Sobers, no. But wait, didn't I say that already? I think I did. Anyway,
go ahead.
Right. Let me find the others. Where are the others? Where are the other votes? Finbar Collins, no. Subgage Rimal, what is that? I don't know what is that. Some people are just cutting. Carol Guevara, no. Mrs. R, no. I know you said no, Mrs. R. Josie Richardson, no. Michael Robinson, no. Jude Khan, yes. Joyce Phillips said, I said no. I don't know. I could not have said anything else. Curtis Patrick, no. Marlon Motley, no. Lenroyd Cunningham, no. Anne-Marie Watson, no. Those are the votes I have.
Okay, so Pauline says yes. Sean Ram says yes. Terry Ann says yes. Cephas says no. Give me a minute here, right? Some of them have to open. Right. Frank says yes. And Joseph Clement says yes. And somebody else who didn't have a name says no. And Charmian says no.
Good morning, Charmaine. And I have one other vote. Ann Noel from Oshawa says no. All right?
Oh, and Miss Tabady says no. And Zena just get back electricity, so I don't know where she's at in the poll.
Okay.
Right, so Zena is calling me. Let me hear what is Zena's vote. Zena, how you vote on the poll?
I said hell no. But the current now come and the Wi-Fi now come back. What a morning for it to go. So when you all start to take calls again.
In a few minutes. Okay. Long Islander says you could pick mango with that pole. It's long. No.
Well, I come back to meet all my mangoes wasted on the ground, you know.
I have another no-name person. Oh no, it's Anthony. Anthony says, all right, Anthony didn't say anything at the poll. Sorry.
So that's it. You want to close off there, Richard?
We can.
Oh, he actually says no, I don't. Sorry, I had to open up the message.
Wayne Joseph just last minute there said no. So we close off at Wayne Joseph, right?
Okay. All right, so our poll this morning, would you support Stuart Young being denied his pension as a former prime minister by an amendment to make the eligibility requirement at least a year in the office which is apparently what the UNC is suggesting, according to one of the daily newspapers this morning. So that's where we would have taken the poll from, that because they seem to suggest that it was an attempt to deny him his pension. But of course, we don't know that. Is. Well, we don't know if it's true or not, or whether they're going to make it retroactive or not. But that was that was certainly the angle that the newspaper took in the headline. So that was our poll this morning. Would you support Stuart Young being denied his pension as a former prime minister by an amendment to make the eligibility requirement at least a year in the office? We had 37 people voting on the poll this morning, and of the 37 of you, 25 of you said no, you would not support Stuart Young being denied his pension. 12 of you said, yeah, we could go along with that. Deny. So 12 of you said, yes, you would support him being denied his pension. 25 of you said, no, you do not support it. The nays have it this morning. And so that's the end of the poll for today.
All right. Hey, what happened there? What happened there? Where do these things come from?
Where what came from? You can't just.
I don't know. Something just popped up on my screen and knocked out the program. I don't know where it came from.
Are you still visiting all those porn sites because you know they bring up a stuff of they have
not on my laptop. Not. I have friends who just bombard my phone with those things. You know, one of these mornings I'm going to call the names.
All right, so are we heading to our listeners now?
Yeah, man.
Callers? Right, so this is your day to raise your topics of interest. So let's go. Morning, caller.
Good morning. I know we are a young country, and as time goes along, we would have to create laws and make amendments to deal with these situations. This is a classic example. We need to use this as a learning example and put something in place in the Constitution that you, similar to the United States, that you must serve 2 terms to be able to get a pension. Well, whether we decide if it's 1 term, if it's 2 terms, but similar to the United States, we need to put, from this experience, we should learn or we should understand that we need to revisit our Constitution to define the timeline of which somebody should serve to be able to get a pension as a prime minister in this country. I think we should use this as a learning curve. Right? So I will leave it that contribution there, and give other callers a chance. There are other topics I want to talk about, but I will give other callers a chance and mix it up a little bit.
Okay, no problem. Wendell, is there something also for parliamentarians, like so, or MPs, if you should get a pension, is after a particular time you have to serve in the parliament or something like that?
Yes, there is. I can't remember if it's 1 term or there's a definition of what is considered a term also too. Right. You know, in terms of years. Yeah. I know somebody had sent me that info. We had done a program concerning that already, you know. Where we spelled out exactly what it is, you know. But the issue with Stuart Young as Prime Minister was, of course, an anomaly. We've never done that before. We've never had a sitting Prime Minister resign from office and another Prime Minister installed, right? We've never had that before. Right. But all of this would not be a topic if the arrogant PNM didn't call an early election. I'll say no more.
Caller, morning to you.
Morning, Mr. Charles.
Morning,
Mr. Wendell. Morning, Mr. Raghuva.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right. What it was a call about the Speaker of the House, and some man called back and wanted to talk about PNM and UNC. Brother, I was never talking about PNM and UNC. You know, if you had to get a taxi badge, you had to go and apply for a certificate of good character, right? And if your certificate of good character have some little deficiencies, they will deny you a taxi badge. You understand what I say, Mr. Wendell?
Yes, I understand that.
But a man had a big charge wrong him, he make 5 years and he needs to carry house. That's what I'm talking about. You talking about PNM Wednesday? Understand?
But the thing about it is that
Miss George.
But Mr. Patrick, hold on.
Hello.
But the thing about it is that if himself you were charged and you were exonerated or whatever it is, might be whether we call it technicality or whatever is the case. If it's no longer on your record, so that I suppose that is not held against you.
No, with the taxi bus is on the record.
No, but that's what that I think that.
But no,
different.
they will deny it. They will deny it. They will deny it. I know people who turn the car to pee because of that. You understand? They will deny it. Right. That is said and done. No, Mr. Stuart Young issue. I listened on the news where the Treasury Department, Goldman, Mr. Tangu, oh yeah?
Yes, the Minister of Finance.
Minister of Finance was saying they're looking to see if they could get how much millions of dollars to pay back pay arrears for the ministers and them with the TR salary return. So therefore they're looking for money to pay back pay for the ministers and whoever. What about looking for the back pay to pay the small man by? The man who got his 5% and the 4% and they don't like small people. So
they said they weren't going to pay. So they said they weren't going to pay the small man. Is that what you're saying?
But they went and they said they're looking for money to pay these people.
Did they say they weren't going? Well, you just implied that they're not going to pay the small man.
No, but how you talk to them people first? Why you not talk to everybody?
So they have to talk about what you feel they should talk about first.
No, generally you went on the campaign trail and you say you pay people back your money. So you know what you're talking about?
Yeah, but what
several of the people who settled their things under the PNM have already gotten their back pay as far as I'm aware.
Brother, union,
I'm just saying,
because they get no money. None of them get no money.
But did they say they weren't going to pay the small man as you're calling them?
I never said it wasn't going to pay the small man.
The implication of what you're saying. Choose your words carefully. Choose your words.
You are assuming and he's a lawyer.
I'm assuming that's the intent of what you're saying there. You're making it sound like they don't plan to pay them.
You know in my mind? No. What I am just saying.
You're making bacchanal where there's no bacchanal yet. That's what you're doing.
All right. Mr. Stuart Young now. We're not talking about they don't want to get the man erase happy. You could remember the Prime Minister of England who went into Parliament and walked off the job and she received her back with life? You can remember it?
Yes. Oh Lord.
They had a Prime Minister for like 45 days or something. So not
43 days.
Right. 43 days.
43 days. Right. Government running on the same English system.
So did he make 43 days?
I don't know what days.
Stuart Young was Prime Minister. I don't know why they're making it feel like he was appointed one day and when he called the election, he was Prime Minister all the way up until the election was lost. So he was Prime Minister for more than a month, you know.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like 10 days,
no,
as people think. But even if that is the case, you know, I think there should be a particular period that you have to hold.
But man, if they can't reverse the issue of all of them getting the increase and the back pay, then they need to leave Stuart Young wherever he deserves, wherever he's due to him, alone. Reverse all or don't reverse none. Okay? You can't go on and try to victimize or spite one person. Take back all of your, because Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, is getting that pension too, you know. Even though she sits as Prime Minister again, you know. She's still entitled to that pension too, you know. Rightfully so. Dr. Rowley also entitled to that pension. And Stuart Young. So all the parliamentarians, all of them who now come in, who lose seat and become minister, what do you feel they're going to get?
All right, hold it there for a minute, and we'll get back to it. Hello, good morning to you, caller.
Morning again. Well, I want to say my piece on this. Morning to all those who locked on Charmaine, I hope you're feeling much better. Anyhow, you see that thing here? It come like any other job. George Young was not acting. He was appointed to the post. And once you're appointed to the post, if you serve a day and anything happen, you are entitled to that money, that salary. You don't get, because you serve 1 day or 1 month, you feel that you're not entitled to whatever the post entitles you to. He was appointed, he was not acting. So by right, he is entitled in my book, and they're going to have to fight court case for that if they try to do that damn nonsense. And that is just the thought of that is wickedness. You understand? And we shouldn't be in this position now, you know. You know why we're in this position now? Because things didn't flow as they should. Stuart Young was the prime minister appointed. He took us to an election. Any prime minister taking his party to an election and losing, you automatically becomes the opposition leader. Why you have to have fight down for the post? Because people want to be opposition leader. We should not have been in this position now. And I hearing people call it vexing that other people talking about it and complaining in the press. They took it to the media. They took the business, P&M business, to the media, because they call in the newspaper and them to come and take picture of who signed what and where, and the drama started since then. So you can't take back that secrecy now of all your general council business. So you see me, I am voting for nobody on that damn street. Nah, nobody if I'm voting at all.
Do something more like a change maker, you know.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that isn't there a process for opposition leader within the party, Wendell, and that is what has happened?
Yeah. But Penelope, because the same as Stuart Young was rightfully made prime minister, Penelope Beckles-Robinson was also rightfully made opposition leader. I ain't going to argue them things at all.
Yeah. So if the process was good for one, it had to be good for all.
Yeah.
Right. Hello, morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen, again. Something that come to my mind as I'm listening to you all here. Are we going to talk about, when are we going to have the conversation about our new Minister of Homeland Security that reads like a 5-year-old? Are we going to talk about that at all? This
what is there to talk about?
What is there? What ceremony?
But what is there to talk about, Lincoln?
And cannot
Lincoln, hold on.
The PS who is there, all these senators who is there, everybody who is there, who he knows would be there.
Lincoln.
Who he knew would be there from jump. Go ahead, I'll listen to you.
Can I ask you, if for some reason that what you're talking about might be I don't want to say a disability, but if it was like somebody else in that capacity, would you also look at it that way? So like we have right now, we have
the position of a minister in this government that cannot read as to the capability of a 5-year-old as a problem.
Yeah, but I
don't know. I don't know if I want to make that an issue, because there are other people with different issues all over.
Yeah,
we knew what we were getting. We knew who we were electing. We knew.
Yes, I agree with that 100%, because we knew that from the Beyond the Tape program, and we still appointed him as
So then that's not a
criteria to be there, Lincoln.
Mortified that is anybody could sit in parliament.
That might
and I think one of the ministers said it. You don't need no qualifications to be a minister. Only position that you need to be a minister is the Attorney General.
Don't get down on anybody for
minister said it some years ago. So maybe I beat it a dead horse. Maybe you know what?
I think you're staying up. I could
leave that alone. There are some things. That's why I tell people, regardless of where my politics lie, there are some things I will not talk about concerning other people who may be opposed to my politics.
Yeah,
which is why I was totally against when people attacked Mrs. Prasad Bisesa on her frailty and her health and so on. There are certain things you have to leave alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah, because I mean,
Shall I read some of the Santa Rosa article?
After the call, Richard. After the call. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Your last caller is so correct. I don't know if they're waiting for when Roger Alexander, the Minister of Homeland Security, go abroad and embarrass the country.
Caller, we go the same road we trying to avoid.
Yeah. As I said, we don't know what is the person. The person may have something that prevents them from doing certain things. I don't think that is.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's only going on this morning.
Don't do that.
I don't support that at all. You understand? So, yeah. Richard, go ahead with what you wanted to do, and then we'll continue.
I was just going to read. I don't know how many people know about the Santa Rosa school incident, and so I was just going to read a bit of it from somebody who blogged on it, Mark Lovell, on Monday, 2nd of June. But apparently, on the morning of Monday, June 2nd, 2025. A serious breach of student safety occurred at the Santa Rosa Government Primary School. An unidentified adult male reportedly entered the school premises before classes began. He approached the classroom, falsely identifying himself as a substitute teacher, and claimed he had been sent to replace a classroom furniture. He requested volunteers to assist him. Several unsuspecting children eagerly offered to help. The man then led the children to the storeroom, claiming the furniture was inside. Upon entering, he locked the door, trapping the students inside. He then allegedly solicited sexual acts from the children, offering money in exchange. The terrified students began to scream for help. Hearing the commotion, students outside the storeroom tried unsuccessfully to open the door. A teacher who had arrived early was alerted by the noise and rushed to intervene. She immediately called for an MTS officer, alerted that police were en route, and attempted to document the situation. The suspect then forced the door open, assaulted the teacher by pushing her to the ground, and escaped the compound by scaling a fence. The principal was informed, and it was indicated that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service would follow up with an investigation. However, since the incident, several of the children involved have not returned to school, and no official statement has been made to acknowledge or address what occurred. We are calling on the following authorities for immediate intervention: the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Ministry of Education, Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, Child Protection Task Force. This incident demands urgent investigation, support for the victims, and swift action to identify and apprehend the perpetrator. Children should never feel unsafe at school. This must not be buried or forgotten. We demand answers, justice, and protection for the innocent lives impacted. So that's kind of a basis of the story. I know Wendell would have put something from the Ministry of Education in the chat this morning. Was it Wendell?
Yes. A release from the Ministry of Education.
There is a release from the Ministry of Education, and it says, "Dear editor, head of department, reported intruder incident at the Santa Rosa Government Primary School." So this is in response to that post that would have gone up. I think it was also published in media. The Ministry of Education acknowledges reports of an incident involving an unidentified individual on the compound of the Santa Rosa Government Primary School during the morning of Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. So there's a difference in the date here, because that one that we just read said June 2nd. Preliminary information indicates that the individual was seen traversing multiple areas of the school building. The principal and staff responded promptly, acting in accordance with the established safety procedures and alerting the relevant authorities. The matter is currently under active investigation by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, The Ministry of Education is cooperating fully with law enforcement and other key stakeholders to support the ongoing investigation. In the interim, and as a precautionary measure, the ministry has initiated a review of the school's existing security protocols. This step is part of our continued commitment to ensuring the safety and well-being of all students, staff, and visitors across the national school system. The ministry also takes this opportunity to remind all school administrators and security personnel to remain vigilant and to ensure that all safety protocols are enforced consistently. Dr. the Honorable Michael Dowlath, Minister of Education, has insisted that every child deserves a safe space to learn, free from fear or disruption, and further notes that the ministry will continue working with all stakeholders to safeguard that right. So that's the official statement from the Ministry of Education concerning the issue.
Wow.
So, of course, they're not saying that the issue was as dramatic as what was indicated in that post on social media. They're saying that somebody came on. So, which is it? You know?
Yeah.
School security, I guess.
Obviously, something happened.
Yeah. When you read the first story, though, Richard, it indicated as if it was class was already going on when this man pretended to be a substitute teacher and asked you to help. But later on in the story, it said that another teacher who came in early, which indicated in a kind of way it was before school called.
Yes.
So you're not sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure.
You're not sure.
You know?
Okay.
So, you know, the only way you could get to the truth of this is to speak to parents of the students who were there when the breach of security took place in whatever form.
Yes.
That is something else. All right, so let's continue with our calls because a lot of people calling through.
Let them call.
Captain Ron, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Listen, I hope they get to the bottom of that school thing. I heard about it since yesterday. I'm wondering, maybe one of you guys can answer this question. Has any of the, like from the Prime Minister down to any of the ministers, remember when Raul and they were talking about getting the raise in pay and whatever, and pension or whatever. And they came out and said they were the opposition then, and they said they will not take it. Have any of them, now that they're in power, have they denied it? No. And if they do attack Mr. Young, they're going to put themselves in litigation with the court, and they're going to lose a lot of money because they can't win him. Whether his tenure was 1 day, 1 month, 5 minutes, they can't win. That's the law.
Yes.
So I need to know, has any one of them denied the pay raise like they said they were going to do when they were in opposition at the time? All right.
Not as far as we are aware. They already said they can't do anything about it. It's already done. They already made a comment about that. Not so, Richard?
Yeah, they said something along that line.
Yeah.
It would cost too much. It would cause litigation.
Yes. They said it. They said that people will take them to court.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just comes across as a bit of vindictiveness. If that story is true about what they're trying to do with Stuart Young, it just comes across that way to me.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's take the call. Caller, morning to you.
Morning, guys. Richard, the problem with the school and security is this. If you check any one of the schools in Trinidad and Tobago, all the security is got by the gate. Nobody do foot patrol. So all the loopholes they know about the loopholes, but all these females or male MTS security always stay in front of the gate instead of making patrols around the school to find what's going on. For some reason, that's part of the problem. Security is the problem. MTS is one of the major problems. Some of these schools have 4 and 5 security, but nobody make patrols. Everybody stand up by the gate. For what purpose? I don't know. And they have security and they have supervisors. So that's part of the problem with the security in the schools. That's why these things happen unannounced to a lot of these students. And plus, the principals are supposed to make an announcement, let the classes know, because they have those kind of system in the school. Maybe having a substitute teacher today, etc., but they don't do these things. So anybody can come and say someone slip in the system. I come to replace your teacher, you're not coming today, you're not coming today. And that's part of the problem in Trinidad and Tobago at the present time.
Yeah, security.
You might be right.
Thanks very much.
You're talking like somebody in the know, but you might be absolutely right with what you just said.
Yeah. But the story said that the person spoke to the security by the gate and went into the school. You got that from the story? Or the person just enter the school.
That we're not sure about. How they got into the class. I think they would have gotten into the class without the security knowing. But he might be right. The security maybe not patrolling enough. I don't know how many security guards are at a school at any point in time. You know?
In a lot of cases, some of them only have two and all kind of thing. But,
yeah.
Caller, morning to you.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning to you, caller.
I just wanted to chime in on the pension business with the MP Young.
Yes.
The Prime Minister's Pension Act, Chapter 251, is very specific. And you only become eligible to that Prime Minister pension once you have served on a pension, at a PM, and you retire. So John has retired as yet, he's a sitting MP. So he will only be entitled to that pension, having reached the highest position in cabinet as Prime Minister, when he leaves the House. Dr. Rowley is in that category now. Similarly, the Prime Minister now, when she was opposition leader, she would not have been entitled because she was still a sitting MP. So any attempt to try and amend the act is pure vindictiveness. And the act is very short, it's about 4 or 5 pages. The Prime Minister Pension Act 251, it also concerns the widow or minor children of a Prime Minister who has served in the capacity. I wanted to throw it out there for people to ruminate on. And it was passed a long time ago, and it covers all former Prime Ministers, regardless of party affiliation. I think it's one of the fairest acts that we have on our books at this time. Thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen.
Thanks for clearing that up. Thanks for clearing that up. I thought that was obvious too, that it's upon you exiting the House. In other words, you're going to get the pension tomorrow. He's still a sitting member of Parliament.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but so what does that mean in that regard? So if you are retired and you have gone your way, you're not active, he would get the pension. But if he's
Dr. Rowley would be the only person so far to get that.
So really and truly, right now he may not be getting it then.
But he can't get it until he has exited the House. He's still a sitting member of Parliament.
Okay.
So he'll be collecting the increased pay as a parliamentarian.
Right, he get the increase like everybody else. But the pension of itself, only when he retires, he will get it. Or okay.
Yeah, same thing with Mrs. Prasad Bissessa.
Okay. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning again. I want to chime in on that issue with the school. Richard, don't you think that I would want to find out now if schools don't have cameras around? And I know if he was traversing the area so much, that gentleman, I know that they should have had, I feel should have been able to be onto some kind of lead who that person would be.
Let me tell you something about schools, Zena. Some schools may have cameras, but I could give you an incident of Central. You know Central in Arima. It's a popular school in Arima, where parents wanted, the PTA wanted to air condition certain rooms in the school, and the administration, the principal said they couldn't do it. They had to get Ministry of Education permission. The school too old. It cannot take the wiring. The children have to stay in the hot room. So far less for cameras. Because cameras would also include wiring and some level of infrastructure works. So I don't know how that happening in schools. Even if
I understand. Well, this is an awakening. What needs to be done?
Yep.
And here
even in the you have some very
another topic. What you all think about that young man who killed and then confessed boldly enough to say why he did it. I mean, what mad people we have out here, and young men have to know that you don't own people. That if you and somebody fall out over something and you can't make it, go your road. Why you have to kill people's children? Why? Men have to understand that what happened to bankruptcies be so large that it cannot be handled. No, that bad, man. And I said something on another program, and people find that, that wasn't a good thing to say. But I want to say it, and it's silly. I'm going to say that all the murders in this country, they were put in on the hands of Dr. Rowley and Mr. Hines. They went so fast to say the blood is on his hands, on Dr. Rowley's hands. So they thought that when the 29 come and they win the election, that killing would have done. The country, and I keep saying, people is in the countries who needs the change. You can't campaign on a situation about crime and that you will fix crime, and Dr. Rowley and them wasn't doing anything about crime, and crime would be a thing of the past. And you cannot fix people just like that. You're dealing with human beings. So people have to realize that this nonsense that has been going on with about campaigning on crime has to stop. Try and change the people in your country. Try and think they change their thought process and the behavior. And that starts from the cradle. You're waiting till you almost meet the grade. So they have to start from kindergarten to inculcate that into the brains of children. Thank you.
All right. You know, I heard the new commissioner say yesterday, and these are my words, right? I'm paraphrasing, that at a career day in the school he went to, St. Stephen's College, I think in Princestown, that he had prophesied. Well, this is I think he said it's prophetic, that he wanted to be a commissioner of police since back then. Since in school, he had said that he wanted to be commissioner of police. So he's basically going on that prophetic road that it has come true, which
Who's this Commissioner Guevara?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes, he said that yesterday. That's what I saw. We didn't have some clips of what he would have said.
Okay. When I said, I didn't see any of those.
Yeah, yeah. But he spoke about that his school days at St. Stephen's College in Princestown, and that he did want to be a commissioner of police. So the prophecy has come true.
Prophecy.
So that is the thing with most of them.
Prophecy, the right word?
Well, he used the word. I'm not sure if it's prophet.
No, prophecy sounds a little biblical.
Well, that's how I interpreted what he was saying, though.
Yeah, but I don't think it's prophecy. That his intent or his goal has been achieved.
Mm-hmm. It's almost in a similar vein of Junior Benjamin saying that he also said he will be commissioner one day. He prayed about it. Mr. Guevara went down that road too.
Yeah. God in everything, you know. I know what Richard talking about, you know.
I don't understand, Richard. You have to accept that.
We have a caller online. Caller, morning to you.
I'm going to be prime minister one day too. That's a prophecy.
Good morning, caller. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. The caller who mentioned the Prime Minister's Pension Act and thing, I think that was real clarity. Now, I had an idea that is how it was, but I wasn't sure. So I appreciated the fact that he clarified that. I really want to look at economics a bit, but just in a broad sense, because we have in this mid-year review, and I looked at it and I look at the circumstances, how they have changed in the last, say, 2 months since the election. Right, and a little prior to that, in respect of oil and gas exploration and the relationship between Trinidad and Venezuela, and it's a bit unfortunate that along with Mr. Rubio's comments, and then the foreign policy issue between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, if you look at the prospects, they look a bit dim. And therefore, the issue of diversification will come more into focus, because clearly we wouldn't be able to engage with the Venezuelan government within the short term, right? Maybe in the medium term. And I think it would be interesting to see how the government framing policies in terms of funding going forward based on that kind of situation that we have, you know. And while we while we could talk about Mr. Young thing and thing, to me those are low-hanging fruit and generally kind of populist policies. I am waiting to hear something about how we go forward for the next 2-3 decades, basically. And I'm a bit anxious because I don't feel that there's anything there. All the talk about diversification, I know that that's a difficult component to achieve. So we have to wait and see. But that's just my concern at this point in time. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Princess Tong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's from Princess Tong too.
Yeah. Could ask him about Mr. Navarro there. Hello, good morning to you, caller.
Probably went to school.
Good morning.
Everybody from that same town don't know each other. You know that, right?
I recently I reached a point where I would mark Dr. Rowley very lowly on many aspects of governance and so on, and his relationship with the population he led. But the only issue I would still rate him highly on was international relations. I have to give him probably a 9 out of 10 on that. And I would like to know how we would rate our present Prime Minister on international relations. And I'm saying all that to say that the world is on the verge of the Third World War. And if this thing escalates to the point where the world is divided between the Russia, the China, the Venezuela, the Iran, and so on, and the other part which is France, America, England, Germany, and so on. You know, one of the first things that are going to be happening is that American bases all over the world will be targeted. And after bases, they would target things like the embassies, and we have an American embassy here, and we have Venezuela next door. And if the hostilities reach the point where Trinidad would be involved in the Third World War in a real way. So the excesses of leaders in the manner in which they speak, you know, is very, very poetic. And I want us to consider if World War III breaks out in the next week or so. Because if you're listening to international news, you would have an idea that is not so far-fetched as a lot of us may think. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller. Yeah, we say we're taking your calls. Remember, this is your day to talk, you know.
Come, folks. You're getting a chance to talk. A lot of talk going on the chat, though, between Cheryl Henry, Far Rockaway.
Well, share some of the comments in the meantime.
DL, Beauty Culture, a lot of Donna Ramlo Chan. A lot of chat going on. And keep it up. Just be respectful. That's
all. Be respectful and responsible. Caller, morning to you.
Yes, good morning again to you all. So, if the current government wants to amend the law so that Stuart Young will not be able to get a pension as Prime Minister, he became Prime Minister on March 10th. They say, right? So it's not for a day, as people want to say, right? So why doesn't she continue with the amendment to stop all the increases for that same year for everybody and not just one person? And I want to find out something. Can salary, like a salary that was given today, can it be amended for the past? In other words, Richard, you could help me in that one. You say you get a salary all the time, but he's not getting a salary now because he hasn't retired, right? So that is known. He's not retired, but that was stated. So could it be withdrawn? Well, maybe if it could, Richard, can you answer that for me? And I'll listen offline. If it could happen, and it does happen, well, they might have to be paying back more than the salary that he was intended to get. So, well, you all have a wonderful holiday weekend. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if it could, I can't answer that specifically. I think that's something that has to go before the court, and the court will determine on the legal arguments presented by both sides whether that can happen. Anytime you try to retract what is already given, there are legal complications.
Always.
And people, especially people are enjoying the benefit now. I get it. In Stuart Young's case, he may not be enjoying the benefit yet, but it's a benefit in waiting, so to speak. So can you retract something? Can you, for example, retract all of the salary increases for, even if you want to limit it to parliamentarians, can you retract it at this point when they're already receiving it? Because they've already received it. And some of them, I don't know how many of them would have gotten their back pay at this point, but they are currently receiving those revised salaries, because when under Colm Imber as Minister of Finance, they would have sent some note to all ministries and stuff to enable the effecting of the SRC recommendations across all the job specifications that were covered, with the addendum of those that were under review to come later. But so it's always difficult to now take that back, because people are already receiving a benefit, and for you to say, well, I'm retracting that benefit and reversing that benefit, it's going to lead to litigation, and how it will turn out is for a judge to decide.
Yeah.
But
anyway, we have to do 8 o'clock news.
I am capable of deciding is that news is
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Finance Minister Davendranath Tanku says the UNC government will spend an additional $3.1 billion over the next 3 months to correct what he called the fiscal recklessness of the former PNM administration. This pushes Trinidad and Tobago's total 2025 budget to $62.8 billion, up from the original $59.7 billion. Tanku accused the PNM of spending without planning, causing what he described as an economic crash. The largest allocations go to the Ministry of Health with $728 million, Public Utilities with $489 million, and Education with $455 million. An additional $128 million is allocated to the Office of the Prime Minister to cover revised salaries and urgent support for children's institutions. Minister Barry Padderath said the underfunding of homes like St. Mary's Children's Home exposed the PNM's neglect of the most vulnerable. The mid-year budget review will be debated tomorrow. The Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs is closely monitoring developments arising from recent tensions between Israel and Iran, and is urging all nationals currently residing in or intending to travel through the affected region to exercise the utmost vigilance. In a statement posted to Facebook, the ministry advised nationals to remain alert, stay informed by following credible news sources, and register promptly with the ministry's registration system for nationals abroad. Citizens were urged to locate the nearest emergency shelter in the event of intensified hostilities, and to create contingency plans for departure if personal safety is at risk. The ministry also reminded the public that Trinidad and Tobago passport holders require a visa for transit through or entry into the United Kingdom. A veteran transportation engineer is warning that Trinidad and Tobago's highways may be unsafe at current speed limits. Dr. Ray Furlong says the 100 km per hour speed limit on major highways like the Solomon Hochoy may be too high, as the roads were never designed to safely handle such speeds. He believes the previous 80 km per hour limit was safer, especially since many motorists now drive at speeds over 120 kilometers per hour. Furlong also raised concerns about faulty engineering, including poorly sloped bends, unclear road markings, and missing barriers, particularly dangerous in wet conditions. He cited the recent fatal Claxton Bay crash and the death of a La Brea motorcyclist as examples where road design may have played a role. the United States government has donated medical supplies valued at over $207,000 to Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health. The donation, received yesterday, includes 13 hospital mobile beds, 1,000 bed sheets, and other essential medical items. Deputy Chief of Mission Charlie Franta presented the supplies to Health Minister Dr. Lacram Bodo in Port of Spain. Minister Bodo expressed gratitude, saying the donation will help boost operational capacity at the Port of Spain and San Fernando General Hospitals. The donation comes through the U.S. Southern Command's Humanitarian Assistance Program, which has provided over $10 million in support to Trinidad and Tobago over the past decade. The Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association is backing a call to give the Tobago House of Assembly more power to police marine parks. THTA Vice President Rene Siprasad says giving the THA legislative authority makes sense, since local officials are better placed to manage Tobago's marine environment. His comments follow a request by THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, who urged the central government to give Tobago legislative teeth to protect its reefs. Siprasad cited issues like party boats, reef damage, and illegal dumping as reasons for stronger oversight. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In regional news, the Bahamas is pausing its recruitment of Cuban nurses and will cancel existing contracts with Cuban agencies. Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville told Parliament that after talks with the U.S., his ministry will now offer direct contracts to Cuban healthcare workers already in the Bahamas. The move comes amid U.S. visa restrictions on individuals linked to Cuba's overseas medical missions, which Washington labels as forced labor. Currently, over 30 Cuban professionals are working in the Bahamian public health system. Dr. Darville stressed the need for Cuban workers due to long-standing shortages and said recruitment from Africa, India, and the Philippines will continue. In international news, Israel says it has killed another top Iranian general as tensions escalate, and U.S. President Donald Trump is urging Tehran residents to evacuate. Trump left the G7 summit early, saying the U.S. is not seeking a ceasefire, but something better, possibly full Iranian surrender. Israel's military claims it struck top Iranian targets, including General Ali Shadmani, in a continued campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear program. Iran retaliated with over 400 missiles and drone strikes, killing 24 in Israel. Iran's death toll is now over 220. The UN nuclear watchdog confirmed damage to Iran's underground Natanz enrichment site. As explosions rocked Tehran, shops closed, people fled, and Trump warned on social media, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
The only question I have for you is how you find your play going so far?
I was gobsmacked, to say the least. Very glad that I came to see it and can't wait for the next half.
Very nice, lovely, yes. I could do it again.
I think the play is fantastic, and I actually told my husband tonight that I think this is one of the most hilarious and phenomenal ones yet.
Love that.
So I was dying of laughter, and the plot is creative and fun, so I just think it's awesome.
I find it has a twist, and it raises a game changer, right?
Right.
It's a game changer,
like
so it's a plus.
How was the show tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. We got fabulous actors.
Yes, we do.
It was a fabulous night. My husband laughed very loud. It was exciting.
It was excellent. I must say it was a refreshing look at real-life aspect of a marriage. I find it was excellently portrayed, I must say.
It was really exciting. I laughed a lot. And the story was really, really good. The principles, that they talk about and share with us, it was really good to see they put that in humor with humor.
Have you heard? The hilarious adult comedy Married and Mischievous is coming to an end. Where are the last shows? I'll tell you. Port of Spain. Final 2 shows at Queen's Hall on Friday, July 4th and Saturday, July 5th at 8:30 p.m. And our absolutely last show is on Sunday, July 6th in Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets available in all usual outlets in North and South. Don't miss the comedy that everybody is raving about. Check RSRR Productions page on social media. And remember, strictly adults only. It's a bacchanal.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
So, Richard, I was right. The police commissioner says his appointment as the top cop is a prophecy fulfilled. I used the correct word. I know that he said that. He says leading the police service was a...
Is he a pastor? So we in another pastor?
No, well, I don't know that he's a pastor, but I'm saying he said that because he said that since his school days at St. Stephen's College, he had said that that's what he wanted to be, the police commissioner. Yeah, and it is a prophecy fulfilled. I know I wasn't hearing wrong, but I wanted to be sure, so I found the article.
Oh, you didn't find the clip?
Well, I have it, but it's only on Facebook. I could share it from there. But I guess we could do that. We'll have to leave that for next week, Monday.
Yeah, we'll have to leave that Monday because it is a holiday, people, just in case you forgot. It's a holiday tomorrow and Friday. Trust me, we know. And so today is like a Friday, so put a smile on your face. Get energized about today because it is like the beginning of the weekend. And it's a glorious long weekend as we head towards 8:50, which is our sign-off time on the breakfast show. So thank you so much for all of your input this morning and a lot of the calls and people who weighed in on different issues. This morning. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, and we appreciating choosing us as your choice for your morning talk and your morning commute and for your entertainment on a morning. We appreciate you choosing us every morning.
So tomorrow is Labor Day and the Corpus Christi, so have an absolutely wonderful holiday. Of course, Friday is also a holiday because of the 2 holidays falling on one day. So it's a long weekend. We haven't had a long weekend like this since Easter. We don't generally get those 4-day weekends, And I also want to wish Charmaine in CJ in New York a speedy recovery. She's really under the weather because the weather has been terrible in New York.
I sent that message this morning. So have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's good for your health. Enjoy the long weekend, whatever you do.
And before you go, guys, let me just let people know that we are going to be automating from 9 o'clock throughout the day. And so there'll be no more talk shows today as we upgrade the stream. So, yeah, so you get more music today.
All right, so we're just about on 8:15. So this has been The Breakfast Show.
The Breakfast Show. All right.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes